It's Nicole Safely with I Am Fierce, and I'm so excited that you're joining us for this session of the Art of Confidence event. I am super excited about this, and you'll probably find out more in the next 30 minutes about me than you ever wanted to know. But more importantly, I am honored to have Mor Yelvington join us today. We've had some great conversations, I'll just tell you that. So I'm so excited. But Mor is an energy healer. She does a lot of intuitive trauma healing and really works with women just like you in their business and honestly on themselves. And Mor, I'm so excited to have you here. You guys, Mor brings 18 years of experience helping women feel safe and seen in their bodies so that they can emotionally heal and get relief, be pain-free, and create lasting relationships. So our conference is all about, how do we give you tools so that you can increase revenue? And I'm going to do that. We're going to talk about that. But the one thing that I know is that it's not about money at all. If we don't start with ourselves, then the other things, money, great business relationships, personal relationships, they just don't flow. And so as I met Mor, I knew instantly that she would be an amazing resource for us in our session, The Art of Confidence. So Mor, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for having the summit, because I think it's going to give so many women such amazing insight into their business.
Absolutely. So I am going to share, and I'm pretty open and transparent. And when Mor and I connected, I instantly knew that this was the thing I was supposed to share with you. And I'm going to tell you, about 3 years ago, I had an event, Mor, where I reached out to a coach and I was interviewing him to see if he was going to be right for me to coach me on my business. I'd been in some blockers. I was at a point where I'd been trying things and I found myself in this circle, and I just wasn't able to step out of it and get the success that I needed. Well, this first coach I interviewed, literally within 15 minutes, he asked the pleasantries and was getting to know me. And, he gave me some feedback about how I was showing up. I'm like, okay, great. And then he asked me about my childhood. And I'm like, okay, why am I in therapy? What's going on? And I'm like, oh, it was great. And within a couple of minutes, I started then telling him about my childhood. And his words to me Mor was, that's fucked up. Now, I'd never heard anybody talk to me like that, a professional telling me my life is effed up in 15 minutes. I was so mad. I went into the living room. I got off the phone really quick. I went in the living room. I'm telling my husband, I'm ranting. I can't believe this person said this. And then I burst out into tears because I knew he was right. And he had seen beyond the veil that I'd put up. I'm talking to him about business, by the way, not personal stuff. I didn't go to therapy, but he'd seen the veil that I had put up. And those words prompted me to go further. Now, I didn't work with him because he pissed me off. But about 6 months later, I finally, on that day when I started bursting out crying, I'm like, he's on to something. There's something inside me, subconscious. I knew that there was something I needed to work on. And so about 6 months later, I reached out to a coach and I enrolled him. And he asked me, are you ready to do the work? He's a business coach, but he said, we're going to go here for your business, but I promise it's going to go elsewhere. And that's what I want to enroll you to talk about, because as we started to do the work, it really was about me. And as we talk about women in this space, the notion of I am fierce and I want to do, I have all these dreams. And then I found myself shut down, not achieving my goals. And so I think as we talk about this, and I want to introduce you to this notion of sexual trauma, and I'm going to allow you to introduce that and how you see that related to business and where we get to go to explore that, because that was actually part of my personal experience is looking back 0 to 8 years old. What were the things that really affected me that were now at 50 impacting my success? Can you just give us a little, tie those things together? Because Yeah.
I just love that you shared all of that because I think it explains so beautifully what so many of us are going through. So I'm going to tie it in. Like you said, I have 18 years of experience. The women that come to me have done it all, tried it all, did all the things, went to therapy, took medication, bought all the crystals, meditations, and they can't figure out what's going on with them.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times they will come to me for emotional relief, right? They're going through anxiety, depression, insomnia, low libido, and they don't know why. And when we start working together, they find out, just like with you, that there's a lot of stuff in our past. It's really keeping us stuck.
Yeah.
And with women, we have the statistics. 1 out of 3 women experience sexual trauma. And
Can I ask you about it? Because that word, like, it was huge for me. I would have never said, oh, it's sexual trauma. Like, what does that mean? What is sexual trauma? Like, how does that show up?
I'm going to break it down to you. So there's actually a lot of ways that we experience sexual trauma. The way I define it is anywhere that your sexuality has been attacked to where you felt like you weren't safe in your body and you just disconnected. And you disconnected from the parts that make you a woman, right? What is your sex? You're a woman. If you're disconnected from your woman, that is the sexual trauma. Now, how does that look like? We have the normal, sexual, not normal. I don't want to make it seem like it's not a
But
big deal.
it's not normal. But you know what? Since I've started talking about my journey, you know how many women that at differing degrees have experienced some form of sexual abuse or trauma. Yes.
So that's the thing, right? We have 1 out of 3 statistics. That's the statistics. And that includes the sexual abuse, sexual molesting you, right? And the sexual trauma. But what I see is if you were raised in a very religious family and it was very, very taboo and shameful to talk or to even connect to your body, to masturbate, that is complete sexual trauma because you've completely learned to disconnect from your body up to a place where most women don't even want to look at their vagina. They don't even want to, explore it. How far have we gone where you completely cut off a part of you that you won't even look at it? That's how shameful you are about it. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. And so it can be going through a really, a secret abortion that maybe you had to go through, complete sexual trauma, a really bad miscarriage, a really bad birth, birth experience. If you had a really bad, or to the other side of it, right? If you were in a workplace and the guys there were really obnoxious, mm-hmm. or your first really bad sexual experience with your boyfriend. So it doesn't have to be what we know as like rape, or somebody obviously abusing you, which a lot of women have gone through as well. It can be the psychological, because what happens when you experience trauma, you just shut down. And you know the feeling, I'm sure every woman does, you walk down the street and a bunch of guys yell some stuff and your whole inner being just goes inward, like shut down, hide me from the world. I don't want any of this energy. It's scary. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah. Can I share a funny story? I was walking down the street. I was in Jamaica and I'm walking down the street and this guy starts yelling at my boobs. I mean, I do have big breasts. And he starts catcalling me. I turned around to him and I'm like, hey, let me see your penis. And he was like, what? Now my husband's like, are you crazy? They're going to kill you. But that's where I am. Don't come in here. We're recording and we're telling secret stories. Get out. But he's like, you're going to get killed. But that's where I'm at now. It's like, if you could do that to me, I'm going to do it to you. And how does that feel? I don't really want to see your stuff and you shouldn't be yelling at me that way. But how many women, like you said, curl up inside, they feel abused, they feel disrespected, like, crazy.
I mean, I can tell you, I'm the same way. Like, I'm Israeli. I've been to the military. I've been around men. I'm a tough, like you said, I'm a tough woman. And, I've gone through a lot of stuff, my own sexual stuff and as a teenager. And I worked in kitchen. I'm also a caterer. So I worked in kitchens with men that would like rub against me, and I got that thick skin. But what I realized was when I was doing the inner work on myself, that as much as I'm the tough skin, that tough skin is also blocking me from receiving the stuff that I want to receive. Yeah. And so if I'm blocking the bad, I'm also blocking the good. Mm-hmm. And if I have a wound inside me, right, because this just leaves this void. And that's why so many women feel so disconnected and they feel like they're not enough, because you have this void. And it doesn't matter what you're going to fill it with, it's never going to feel full. You're always going to feel depleted, because the energy and the vibration is coming from the trauma. So
Yeah.
even though you're doing all the work, you're hiring all the coaches and you're doing all the funnels and you paid a ton of million for ads, nothing is working because you're not in your diamond status. And I know we talked about that before, but that mind, body, soul pyramid, it doesn't include the source, and the source is your powerhouse.
And your source is actually what I learned through meditation and looking at, like, that stuff was all kind of ethereal to me before I started this. But looking at your chakras, right? Talk to me a little bit about that, because here's where I showed up. I had for all intents and purposes, no friends. My husband and I literally were talking about, like, how are we going to make friends? And we'd go out and nobody would really talk to us. And he's super open and friendly. And I'm not really that big of a, I'm not that bad. But I had this thing, like this shield, especially towards other women, which was really odd. But after I started working through this and looking at this and then doing energy work and meditation around my chakras, we would go out, and we still do. And people literally will say to us, you guys are such a vibrant couple. You have great energy. Like, people were I could tell there was a change and people were drawn to us. We really hadn't changed anything about how we were purposefully showing up, but
Right.
the energy is there. So talk to me a little bit about that real blockage, because I think we can say, oh, it's a blocker, but there's really a physical.
It's an energetical block.
Yeah.
You're completely vibrating on a different level. So when you have all this stuff going on inside in the subconscious, you're just not aware of it. What you're getting is the outside symptoms, the anxiety, the depression, the loneliness, the overall. That's what you're getting from the outside. And that's the vibration you're putting out there. You're going to attract more of that. But like you said, and I can see it from you now, right? The minute you do the work, that void closes, the energy changes, it shifts. And so it just lifts up, and then you start sending out a different vibration. It's almost like a frequency. You tune up the frequency, you're going to attract more things. The thing is when you're vibrating on the low, even if your clients are right there wanting to work with you, they're not feeling the vibe. They're not coming. Maybe you want that money. Well, money doesn't vibrate on low vibration. It's not going to come. The guy that you're wanting to date, he doesn't even, you don't even see him, and he doesn't see you because you're on completely different frequency. He can be, house next door in the bar, whatever, right? You're not vibrating the same. But the minute you do the inner work and you get into your diamond, that's why I call it the diamond status. Because to me, like diamond, when you take it out of the ground, it's like a rock. You polish it, and then it shines so bright, it blinds everything. And it's the strongest substance on this planet. And that's how we are as women,
Yes, absolutely. And that source, when you think about, they do. I mean, we have something that people want. And by the way, it's not just sex. Like, it is that feeling, that nurture, that love, that energy that you have to give to others. And a lot of times it's because they don't have it themselves. So when you're vibrating in a different frequency, like, people just naturally want to come and be in your space. And, so we started off talking about business, and we're over here talking about, how do I unblock trauma and get energy flowing? And it reminds me, like, when he asked, are you ready to do the work? I'm thinking, I need to figure out all these business tactics, and I'm going to work on this thing and I'll get it right. And the ease of how the work happens. So can you talk a little bit about how you take that diamond status and you look at source and help women to uncover their source and release that? Like, what does it look like to start to do the work?
Okay. So the number one thing I always say to my clients is, whatever's going on physical, it's a direct relation to what's going on in the mental, right? And the subconscious. It's your body's way of telling you, hey, you need to look at this, something's going on. So first of all, start paying attention. Awareness is power. The more aware you can get about where you are and what you're going through, the easier it is to start identifying your patterns, the people that you hang out with, the cycles that are going on in your head. Okay. One of the best tools that Access Consciousness, it's one of the modalities I use. One of their best tools, they say that because we're such energetical beings, 99% of our thought, feelings, emotions aren't even ours. We're just, connected to so many things. So when you start that cycle in your head, just ask, who does it belong to? And get an awareness. Is it even yours? Where did you buy it as yours? How much of those voices in your head are they really your voices? Right? And I also ask for myself, if I was being me right now, how would I be in this situation? I do this a lot with my kids, with my clients. If I was operating from more, what would I be doing right now? Is this how I would be acting? Is this what I would say? And it's amazing how awareness, the awareness that comes up of like, no, I wouldn't do that. I'm being my mother. I'm being my teacher. It's like you start getting aware. So just start noticing, for example, if you have anxiety, when is the anxiety showing up? Is it when you're around specific men? Is it when you're in a specific situation? Your nervous system is sending you a message. It's like your alarm system. Okay. Is it before you go live? Are you afraid to be seen? Right? Just start asking questions and don't look for the answers. Look for the energy that comes up. We are so business oriented. We're just looking for the right answer, the right, thing.
Right.
But the more questions you can ask and just be open to receive, the more information you're going to get. And I want to add one more thing. I know that I'm a mom. I have 3 little kids. I have 3 businesses that I run. And so there's not a lot of time, but the minute I found time for myself, and in the beginning, I was like, shut the front door. Like, I don't have any time in my day to find time for myself. But I literally started scheduling 10 minutes. I would wake up 10 minutes before my kids woke up. I would go outside for 10 minutes. I would listen to a meditation and I would just start connecting. Even if I, took a quick nap during the afternoon, I just found a way to start with 10 minutes a day to just reconnect to myself and to my body. And the more I was doing that, the more information I just got and the more I could open and start really healing from the inside. And so those are the 3 main things I would start doing. If you want to do this, on your own, kind of start tackling and start dissecting, I do recommend. This is the thing about the difference between energy work and therapy. Okay. And let's talk about this because when I was 9, I lost my dad. My parents got divorced when I was 6. I'd lost my dad when I was 9. I experienced sexual trauma really young. And so I was in therapy, I want to say from 9 years old to 18 years old. The thing is when you experience trauma, you disassociate. You know how they say like, oh, this shook my soul out of my body, right? That's exactly what happens. You learn to disassociate completely from your body. So like you said, you would never think that your past had anything to do with it. But when you're disconnected from your body, then you're not feeling anything. So you can talk your ear off about everything, anything without feeling it. I could sit, I'm manipulated. Every therapist I've ever had, I could sit and talk to them about my dad. I would never feel a thing. I was not ready. I wasn't connected. It wasn't until I was doing energy work when I could actually release it. Actually got the tools and we actually released it from the body because a lot of it is energetic. Right? My dad leaving didn't literally cut me in half, but energetically it cut me in half, right? And so that was energetically there. And until I could energetically close it, release it, that was a gaping wound that I had to close.
Right? That is so powerful. And like I said, like this was not something that was in my toolkit. I describe my daughter as kind of my yogi, she's the hippie and I'm over here like, and then I started listening and then I started, playing around, being open to some different modalities. And the mantra that I've had out of that is it gets to be easy. So, you think of like, if I'm going to walk through this and look at this stuff, and it doesn't have to be hard. Some of it might be challenging, but it doesn't have to be hard. And we're just conditioned in a totally different way, especially like through regular therapy. Not that people can't benefit from therapy. I mean, I think there's modalities for everything, right? We should be multimodal and looking at what's there, but like it's not this long, it doesn't have to be this long journey, which was one of the things I found. Like it can happen in an instant. Relief can happen in an instant. Change can happen in an instant. And you said, yeah, give me the tools that I can start working on my own. And I encourage people there, you don't have to go hire someone to do this. But I think it's a combination because sometimes we don't know the tools that are available. And so tapping into somebody like yourself is a guide that's been here, done that, like seen other people and can shepherd you is really, for me, it was super helpful. Like I couldn't imagine, I wouldn't be here if I hadn't worked with my coach. And it all started because remember, I was having trouble with my business. And so how we do our business is how we do everything. Like we're not separate, just like we're not separate. Our mind and body are together. Business and work, those are all together because it is us. And especially as women, right? We're so connected to everything. So I love this. And I could probably talk with you like all day, every day. I'm super excited to hopefully get on your podcast and talk further about my own experience. You guys, Mor does a podcast called Moms Talk Sex. I read that at first on your Facebook group. I'm like, oh, she's a little sketch. I don't know what we're doing here. Now it makes perfect sense. And I'm like, y'all need to listen to this. But I'd love to share with everyone in the event, the art of confidence. Remember, this is about giving you the tools so you're unstoppable and you can grow revenue. I want you to grow yourself. And Mor has a couple of tools that she's going to introduce for you. You're welcome to go out, get signed up for these, download them and connect because you're going to get super value. Do you want to talk a little bit about how people can reach you and then share with us what you have to share among the audience?
Okay, well, I'm really excited. One of my new tools, it's coming out. It's kind of like, I'm going to call it pocket therapy. It's like having help in your back pocket when you need help in those moments of anxiety, depression, insomnia. It's going to be a little app on your phone and you can just, press the button and get to do the energy work by yourself. I'm leading you through it. It's really short segments, like 2 to 10 minutes max. I actually just recorded one for laughter because sometimes we just need some joy moments. And it was the laughter yoga thing and it was so hilarious. I sent it to my girlfriends. They were all on the floor peeing. I was like, should I? It was so funny. They're like, Mor, you're going to put it out? I'm like, I don't care. If it's going to make people laugh, that's what I'm about, raising the vibration.
Why not? Yeah. I love it.
That's coming up soon. You're going to be able to find it everywhere when it's out. And I'm gifting you guys the 3 secrets to overcome anxiety. Again, it's a free healing process that you can receive. It's one of my freebies. And my another freebie that I love giving women is healing your powerhouse, which is your source. It's a whole process that you can listen to on your headphones when you're alone and kind of just connect your powerhouse, connect, your source to really start activating that energy and stepping into your diamond status.
Oh my gosh, that is so awesome. Y'all, this is why I created I Am Fierce. It is about activating everything that's inside of you. I believe God tells us lots of different, studies tell us the same thing. You have everything you need inside of you to be successful, not just in business, but in life. And some of it is just finding the tools that help us to unlock that. And I love that you're so willing to share these. We will definitely have the links in the video on the page as you get your downloads of all of this greatness that Mor's been so generous to help us with. How do people connect with you in social? Like, where do they find you? Share that, and I will also provide all of those details for you guys. But what's the best way to reach you?
Well, Instagram is great. It's Morph Healing, and Morph because my name is also morphing into who you came here to be. That's where it came from. I really want you to be the person you came here to be. I'm Mor Yelvington on Facebook. And then the Moms Talk Sex podcast is everywhere on YouTube, on iTunes. in App Store, wherever you find it. So I would love to, yeah, thank you so much for letting me be on this. This has been so empowering.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You guys, this is the Art of Confidence event. We are running from June 12th to the 18th. So if you have enjoyed what you heard here, I know you've gotten great value. Leave us some comments. Let us know what you found, but also share this with your friends. Women, doesn't matter if they're in business or not. Like, this is stuff we all need to hear. So I invite you to do that. Engage with us in our I Am Fierce group, and we'll make sure to send you all the contact information so you can get the downloads, all the goodness. If you want to reach out to Mor, I encourage you, like, go and get the training, the guidance, the support that you need to step into your confidence. Mor, thank you so much. I will talk to you soon, my friend.
Okay, bye, thanks.